minutes after speaking to the 911 dispatchers, she went to her door, shot through the door, and shot AJ on the chest. Her eldest son ran to a neighbor's house, screaming, shaking, crying, shouting. She has shot. Hello and welcome to my channel Storytime with Stars TV. It's been a while. I've been away on holiday, so I took a little break. But I'm back with a lot of interesting stories. If you have subscribed to this channel again, thank you very much. And if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Over here we talk about true crime stories, laugh scam stories, intriguing stories, educative stories, stories to keep you informed, stories to educate you, stories to make you aware of the dangers in our society, stories to keep you alert, and stories to keep you safe as well as entertained. So if you haven't subscribed, why don't you click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that every weekend when I upload a new story, you will be notified and you can come join me, listen to these stories together. In 2023, a young mother of four, Ajike Owens, was shot by her neighbour Susan Lorincz. It was a conflict that had escalated over the years. Susan Lorincz didn't like children or didn't like Ajike's children. It was a neighborhood where the kids would come out every day and play, and Susan Lorincz had an issue with these kids coming out to play every day. So when they come out, she would make complaints, she would call the police on the kids, saying the kids are trespassing, the kids are disturbing her. There were times she said the kids were harassing her. That had been going on for a while. All the neighbors were aware of Susan Lorinc's issue with the kids in the neighborhood. One day, kids went out to play, and Susan seized their tablet, refused to give it to them. So one of Ajike's boys said he was going to tell his mom. Susan was like, "You can go and tell your mom. I don't care." The boy went to call his mom. Then Susan went to lock her door. Ajike was angry. She had had it up to here. So she went to her door, banging on her door, asked her to open the door and come out. Then Susan called the police again and said she felt threatened by Ajike. She felt Ajike was coming to kill her. The police were like, "We are coming round." Immediately she hung up the phone. 911 received another call that somebody had been shot. So what happened was, as soon as she hung up the phone, actually before she even called, she had gone online to research on this Florida law. Stand your grounds law. Under this law, a person may be able to apply reasonable force on another person where they feel threatened, where they feel, if I don't do something, I could be killed or I could be seriously injured. So you are allowed to use reasonable force to protect yourself, to defend yourself. So she had actually looked into this before calling the police, and then immediately, few minutes after speaking to the 911 dispatchers, she went to her door, shot through the door, and shot AJ on the chest. All this happened in the presence of her kids. Her eldest son ran to a neighbor's house, screaming, shaking, crying, shouting, "She has shot my mom, she has shot my mom." The neighbor came out, other neighbors came out, and they called 911. Police came around, ambulance came around, they took Ajike AJ to the hospital. Unfortunately, AJ didn't make it. So the police called the kid's dad to come around, relay the information to him, and he had to pass on the message to the kids. The kids were distraught, they were heartbroken, they cried, they screamed, they wailed. So after the shooting, it took several days before she was charged. They actually went to her place, took her out of her flat or property or whatever it was, and took her, lodged her in a hotel to kind of protect her from the community. And it really infuriated the whole community. They did not understand. There were protests that why hasn't she been locked up yet? Why is she still being lodged in a hotel like as if nothing's happened? The investigators were trying to establish whether her use of force was justified under Florida's stand your ground law. So after a few days, they decided that in her case, her use of force wasn't justified because she shot through a closed door. How would you know where the person is standing? Why would you shoot through a closed door? It could have been a child standing behind that door. So then it wasn't justified. She wasn't going to be able to use that as defense. And she was charged with negligence, manslaughter, and 2 counts of assault. In August 2024, her trial began. She kept saying she did what she did out of fear for her life. Ajike was pounding aggressively at her door and she feared for her life. And the prosecutors were like, no, your constant complaints and hostility towards the children show that this wasn't like a sudden, sense of fear where you reacted suddenly. You've got built up hostility towards these children. There were times where she's reported to have used racial slurs against the children. This is not a sudden, impromptu reaction. It's something that you had actually sat down to plan, and they found out that she had also actually gone online to research on that Florida laws grounds. So it was premeditated. She was charged with manslaughter. She was also charged with battery. She was charged with negligence and 2 counts of assault. So in November 2025, she was sentenced to 25 years in prison. She wrote a letter to the children. Police asked her, would you like to say something to the kids? And she wrote a letter that she didn't mean to kill their mom. She actually feared for her life, which I don't believe. She feared for her life, so she did it out of fear, not because she wanted to actually kill the man. The young 35-years-old mom of 4 children had to lose her life over something as ordinary as children playing outside. Now the children also have to grow up without their mother. When emotions take over, when your feelings, your anger take over, and we don't pause and breathe and calm ourselves to be able to think properly, dangerous decisions can be taken, and that is what happened with Susan. I wish the kids all the strength and love that they need to see them through this journey of life. Thank you for staying with me. I'll come your way again next week with another interesting story, and please don't forget to subscribe. Take care. Bye.